Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to this session of the 108 important slokas of the Bhagavad Gita. Today we are going to be looking at chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. Today we are discussing texts 7 and 8. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavate Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bangam Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatam Ham Mande Sri.Govardhana Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Dinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we will look at text number 7 and 8 in chapter 4, that is Transcendental Knowledge. And these two slokas are very, very famous. Even people who have only a very cursory knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, even they would have heard of this two verses, and thanks to B.R. Chopra and the Mahabharata, the verses have become world famous, we should say. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. Translation: whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word Srijami is significant herein. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all of the forms are eternally existent. Therefore, Srijami means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of the Dwapara Yuga of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu in one day of Brahma, he has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in any way at his will. He therefore appears by his own will whenever there is a predominance of religiosity and a disappearance of true religion. Principles of religion are laid down in the Vedas, and any discrepancy in the matter of properly executing the rules of the Vedas makes one irreligious. In the Bhagavatam it is stated that such principles are the laws of the Lord. Only the Lord can manufacture a system of religion. Vedas are also dharma. Vedas are also accepted as originally spoken by the Lord himself to Brahma from within his heart. Therefore, the principles of dharma or religion are the direct orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. These principles are clearly indicated throughout the Bhagavad Gita. The purpose of the Vedas is to establish such principles under the order of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord directly orders at the end of the Gita that the highest principle of religion is to surrender unto him only and nothing more. The Vedic principles push one towards complete surrender unto him, and whenever such principles are disturbed by the demoniac, the Lord appears. From the Bhagavatam, we understand that Lord Buddha is the incarnation of Krishna, who appeared when materialism was rampant and materialists were using the pretext of the authority of the Vedas. Although there are certain restrictive rules and regulations regarding animal sacrifice for particular purposes in the Vedas, People of demoniac tendencies still took animal sacrifice without reference to the Vedic principles. Lord Buddha appeared in order to stop this nonsense and to establish the Vedic principles of non-violence. Therefore, each and every avatar or incarnation of the Lord has a particular mission, and they are all described in the revealed scriptures. No one should be accepted as an avatar unless he is referred to by scriptures. It is not a fact that the Lord appears only on Indian soil. He can manifest himself anywhere and everywhere, and whenever he desires to appear. In each and every incarnation, he speaks as much about religion as can be understood by the particular people under their particular circumstances. But the mission is the same, to lead people to God consciousness and obedience to the principles of religion. Sometimes he descends personally, and sometimes he sends his bona fide representative in the form of his son or servant or himself in some disguised form. The principles of the Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjuna, and for that matter to other highly elevated persons, because they were highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 + 2 = 4 is a mathematical principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. The higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the 4 orders and the 4 statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances. Om Tat Sat, Om Vijnana Timarandasya Gananjana Shlakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lankayate Girim Yat Kripat Amaham Mande Sri Guru Dhinatarinam Paramanandamatvam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, previously in the 6th shloka, Lord Krishna establishes how, although he is unborn, he is Avyayam, he is Bhutanam Ishwaro Api, still he says Sambhavamyatma Mayaya, I come by my own internal energy, I appear in every millennium. And now he continues to expand on that theme, that I appear by my internal energy as myself, as my transcendental self. Okay. That being said, now, why does the Lord appear? That is the next question that we need to look at and understand. And that is given in this particular shloka 7. And also we will continue on with shloka number 8, because there the Lord also explains what does he do, So these two are very closely interconnected. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata. That is, whenever and wherever there is dharmasya glani and abhyuthanam adharmasya, both, dharma going down, decline of dharma, and rise of adharma. Decline of dharma and rise of adharma, although they sound the same, they have more dimensions than just being the opposite of each other. So sometimes there is no dharma. That means people will live like animals, Some of the very advanced, so-called advanced countries that we see today, you will find they have no religious practices. They have no religious practices. They will live like animals, meaning they work from morning till night and they live like that, and they work very hard, very sincerely, and they make some money and then they do some enjoyment like that. practically dharma totally gone. So that is dharmasya glani on one side. Abhyuthanam adharmasya is that not only when a person he stops all dharma and then he actually starts acting, behaving in a way that is contravening dharma at every point. One thing is to live like a pashu, like an animal. The other thing is to actually become an adharmi by troubling other people. So one is a very passive mode, the other is a very active mode. So as dharma goes down, we should understand there is a passive mode, no action. And then that goes further down, it comes to adharma, where the adharmic activities, they become active. It's like when you draw that number line and then, then you have this like this. You draw that line and then there is above, and then there is below. So dharma is somewhere up, it keeps coming down, then hits rock bottom, dharma se glani complete, and then, on the other side, the adharma, the deeper it goes, that means if you, tilt it the other way and see, you'll see adharma going up. So whenever there is dharma se glani, whenever there is a decline in dharma, and whenever there is an increase in adharma, Krishna says, at that time, Srijami aham, I appear, I descend, I manifest. So Prabhupada very carefully chooses how this is expressed. Prabhupada in the beginning of the purport itself, he says, Srijami aham. It does not mean, or straight away we must understand that the Lord is not born, the Lord is not created, the Lord is not forced in any way to appear as he does. But the Lord manifests according to his own will. Srijami aham. Because in the previous verse already the Lord has told that I am Aja and Avyaya. So there is no question of the Lord being born. Logically linking Shloka 6 to Shloka 7, we understand Srijami is used in order to further reiterate the fact that, I am Ajam and Avyayam. Ajam, I'm not born. And Srijami, I manifest. And Prabhupada also writes in the purport that the Lord incarnates, there are some scheduled incarnations. We read the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter itself, scheduled incarnations. We have seen that in the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that schedule is there. Like Lord Krishna appears at the end of Dwapara Yuga, in the 28th Manvantara and the 7th Manu of the day of Brahma, like that. So it comes on a particular day of Brahma, so and so Manu, and in that Manvantara, in this much Dwapara Yuga, Lord will appear like that. But we must understand that the Lord is not bound by the schedule. Just like we have a schedule. The employees of a company, they have a schedule. You have to appear, or rather make yourself available for work at say 8 a.m. and you have to, ensure that you are available till say 5 p.m. like that. Schedule is there. But if you take the business owner, he has no schedule, although he will come. So the owner's office will say, owner will be available from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. At that time, you take your appointment and you get your work done, etc., etc. So very easily we understand that although there is a schedule that the owner comes at 11 to 1, he is not bound by that schedule. Someday he may come at 10, someday he can come at 9, other days he may not come, he may come at 2. So what do we say? We always say, after all, it is his own business. So he can come as he pleases. And he can choose not to come also. Who is to question him? This is a very simple logic that is understandable for everyone, right? Who is to question him? Why? Because he is the owner of the business. But there is a schedule given. From his office, they will say chairman's office. They will say, chairman is available between this and this time. So mostly it can be taken for granted that he'll be available. Maybe he comes before, maybe he comes after, but schedule, but not bound by schedule. Whereas ordinary employee also has a schedule and is bound by that schedule. You cannot choose to break that schedule. That is the Baddha Jiva. Whereas the Swarat, the supremely independent Lord, is not bound by any schedule. So you cannot, to make it further more clear, it is not as if you can ask the Lord, no, dharma as glani has affected, dharma se glani exists, adharma is going up, so now we appear. We cannot force the Lord like that. The Lord comes to establish abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. So why does he come? He comes in order to establish the principles of dharma. And what is dharma? In that context, Prabhupada says in the purport that this dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. That's a very, very important shloka in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Where Yamaraja is speaking to the Yamakinkaras when they were defeated by Vishnu Dutas. When the Yamakinkaras went to claim Ajamila, to bring Ajamila to Yamaraj, the Yamadutas went. And they were just doing their duty. But somebody interfered with their duty and they defeated them and they could not do their duty. At that time, the Yamakinkaras go to Yamaraja and they say, we thought that you were the, topmost man. And as far as we know, as far as we are concerned, you are our topmost authority. But now, lo and behold, we understand some people came, they are more powerful than us. They stopped us from doing what is our dharma, our karma, everything. So they're completely perplexed. We were sent out to do a job. Somebody stopped us. And now we're looking at your face, we understand you are also helpless. And never before it happened in history that the Yamadutas were, somebody interfered with the Yamadutas' execution of their job. That means nobody actually has the guts to mess with the Yamadutas. But here, somebody had the guts and they also defeated. So the Yamadutas are now completely perplexed. So then at that time, Yamaraja says, it is actually, my dear Kinkaras, my dear servants, I am not the topmost Ishvara. I am not the topmost controller. There is somebody else on whose instruction it is all done. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navai vidurrashayo napi devaha nasiddha mukhya asura manushyaha kutascha vidyadhara charanadayaha. Yamaraja says that dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. That is, dharmam, religious principles, principles of religion, laws of religion, it is Sakshat Bhagavad. It is directly enunciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Bhagavan. And neither the rishis, nor the devatas, nor the siddhas, and what to speak of asuras, manushyas, and others, nobody can ascertain what is real dharma. So, dharmam tu sakshat, bhagavat pranitam, he comes to establish dharma. In other words, we must also understand that whatever is established by the Lord is dharma. Whatever is established by the Lord is dharma. Whatever the Lord says, this is dharma, it is dharma. Why? Because he is Swarat, because he is supremely independent, and he is the most supreme person in the entire manifested and unmanifested creation. The Supreme Lord is the topmost. So whatever he enunciates as dharma remains dharma. It doesn't change. Dharma also has another quality that it doesn't change. It is not that, the basic principles of dharma always remain the same. Externally, some changes may be there, You may say that as brahmachari, my dharma is different, grihastha, my dharma is different, yes. But the underlying dharma for everyone remains the same. So, Lord comes to establish dharma, and also Krishna tells Arjuna at the end of the Bhagavad Gita as to what is the highest dharma. And what is that highest dharma? Highest dharma is to give up all lower dharmas and surrender to Krishna. So among all dharmas, among all principles of religion, if we see, what is the topmost principle? That is surrender to Krishna. By abandoning all the lower level dharmas. So when Krishna speaks of yada yada hi dharmasya, we must understand that there is so much subject matter within that yada yada hi dharmasya glani. Bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijami aham. Why do I come? Because I have to re-establish dharma. And the srijami aham as an avatar, when the Lord comes, we must understand that Lord comes with a mission. Prabhupada explains in the purport with the example of Lord Buddha, saying that Lord Buddha appeared in order to establish the Vedic principle of non-violence. Although he established it in a non-Vedic way, to the extent that Buddhism is considered to be a non-Vedic religion because it rejects the Vedas. But Buddha actually established the Vedic principle of ahimsa. Why he did not accept the Vedas, why he rejected it, that's a different discussion altogether. But to understand that the avatar comes with a mission. And avatars are mentioned in Shastra. You cannot have an avatar out of somebody's imagination. And avatar can appear in any part of the world. These are all points Srila Prabhupada makes in the purport. And when the Lord incarnates, Srijami, when the Lord descends, when the Lord manifests, he speaks according to the audience level of intelligence. Prabhupada gives the example of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 in basic mathematics and in advanced mathematics. However, we do understand that mathematics can be divided into basic and advanced. Although in basic mathematics as well as in advanced mathematics, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, there remains, we can actually, categorize mathematics into basic mathematics and advanced mathematics. So like that, dharma, the underlying principles are all the same. However, there are different levels. So the highest level of dharma is explained by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Where Prabhupada says in the purport that by accepting the 4 orders of life and the 4 orders of the society, which Prabhupada says will be discussed later. Basically, acceptance of Varnashram Dharma is acceptance of the higher principles of Sanatan Dharma. So these are the things that are discussed in the verse number 7. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanihi bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasyam tadatmanam sujamyam. And then Krishna goes on to say, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver the pious, vinashaya cha dushkritam, annihilate the miscreants, dharma samsthapanarthaya, to re-establish the principles of religion. Sambhavami yuge yuge, in every millennium. Sambhavami. Again, Krishna uses the word Sambhavami. I appear. Millennium after millennium. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. According to Bhagavad Gita, a sadhu is a man in Krishna consciousness. A person may appear to be religious, but if he has qualifications of Krishna consciousness wholly and fully, he is to be understood to be a sadhu. And dushkriti applies to those who do not care for Krishna consciousness. Such miscreants or dushkritam, are described as foolish and the lowest of mankind, even though they may be decorated with mundane education. Whereas a person who is 100% engaged in Krishna consciousness is accepted as a sadhu, even though such a person may be neither learned nor well cultured. As far as the atheistic are concerned, it is not necessary for the Supreme Lord to appear, as he is to destroy them, as he did with the demons Ravana and Kamsa. The Lord has many agents who are quite competent to vanquish demons. But the Lord especially descends to appease his unalloyed devotees, who are always harassed by the demoniac. The demon harasses the devotee, even though the latter may happen to be his kin. Although Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu, he was nonetheless persecuted by the father. Although Devaki, the mother of Krishna, was the sister of Kamsa, she and her husband Vasudeva were persecuted only because Krishna was to be born of them. So Lord Krishna appeared primarily to deliver Devaki rather than kill Kamsa, but both are performed simultaneously. Therefore, it is said that to deliver the devotee and vanquish the demon miscreants, the Lord appears in different incarnations. In Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj, the following verses summarize these principles of incarnation. Srishti Hetu Ei Murti Prapanche Avatare Seishwara Murti Avatara Namadhare Mayatita Paravyame Savara Avasthana Vishve Avatari Dhare Avatara Nama. The avatar or incarnation of Godhead descends on the kingdom of God for material manifestation. And the particular form of the personality of God who descends is called an incarnation or avatar. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar. There are various kinds of avatars such as Purusha Avatara, Guna Avatara, Leela Avatara, Shakti Avesha, Manvantara, and Yuga Avatars, all appearing on schedule all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primeval Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Sri Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees, who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of the Krishna avatar is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. The Lord says he incarnates himself in every millennium. This indicates that he incarnates also in the age of Kali, As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the incarnation in the age of Kali is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who spread the worship of Krishna by the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy names, and spread Krishna consciousness throughout India. He predicted that this culture of Sankirtan would be broadcast all over the world from town to town and village to village. Lord Chaitanya, as the incarnation of Krishna, the personality of Godhead, is described secretly but not directly in confidential parts of the revealed scriptures such as Upanishads, Mahabharata, and Bhagavatam. The devotees of Lord Krishna are very much attracted by the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya. This avatar of the Lord does not kill the miscreants but delivers them by his costless mercy. You see, Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So, I am coming for paritrananam of the sadhus. That means protecting the sadhus and annihilate the miscreants. So now, naturally, one question is there. And what is that question? The question is, the devotee is already under the protection of the Lord. The devotee is beyond material qualities. The devotee is in a transcendental position. And if he is already in a mukta condition, in a liberated state, then is it necessary for Krishna to come and deliver him? So it is, Prabhupada says that Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavan pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of the Krishna avatar is to satisfy his unalloyed devotees. It is mentioned by different acharyas that when we speak about paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, in order to do vinasha of the dushkritis, the Lord need not appear directly. Again and again we keep saying during these troubled times that you can see actually that how an agent of Prakriti, which is so small that cannot be seen by naked eye, can actually control the whole world. So, controlling the world actually is not a very great thing. Controlling the material world. Controlling the material world is not a very great thing. A small, something that is a microbial size can do that. So, why would the Lord be so keen to come and annihilate the miscreants? So, the main purpose is always paritranaya sadhu, the paritranana of the sadhu. And in what way is the paritrananam taking place? That is also very, very important for us to understand. Is the devotee always asking Krishna, please protect me, please protect me, please protect me? Impure devotees are always asking, protect me, protect me, protect me. But in the Shadanga Sharanagati, in the six-limbed Sharanagati, one limb is that Krishnasya Titi Vishwasu. What is that? That Rakshasya Titi Vishwasu, I'm sorry. Meaning, I have full Vishwasa, I have full faith that Lord will do my Raksha, my Suraksha. Rakshasyati iti Vishwaso. That means I have faith that Krishna will protect me. So, then if somebody is like that, why should the Lord come and protect him? No. It is not to protect the devotee in the sense of us asking for protection from material calamity and things like that. No. This is, all acharyas say that the Lord comes and is seen to be protecting the devotee. But actually what is happening is a transcendental interaction between the Lord and his devotee, where the Lord can be seen protecting his devotee, although the devotee does not ask for it. But in that entire Leela, the devotee gets a lot of transcendental bliss. So Prabhupada says that specifically Krishna avatar came to mitigate the anxieties of the pure devotees who wanted to see Krishna in Vrindavan pastimes. So what was the anxiety of the pure devotee? The anxieties of the sadhus. Sadhu is one who cares for Krishna consciousness. Dushkriti is one who does not care for Krishna bhakti. Two kinds. And the first kind, the sadhu, he is not having any material prayer at all. So what is his anxiety? He is very anxious to see Krishna engaging in pastimes in Vrindavan. So in order to fulfill that, Krishna comes. And while Krishna actually comes for that, he also keeps killing the miscreants simultaneously. By the side it takes place. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that how the demoniac think, real demoniac nature is when one cannot think beyond one's own personal selfish interest. That is the one very clear lakshana of a demoniac person. Prabhupada gives here two examples. Prabhupada gives the example of Hiranyakashipu, who, when it came to his own delusions of grandeur, what did he do? He did not hesitate to put that son on whom he had so much so-called love and affection. Prahlada, being Hiranyakashipu's youngest born, was a favorite child of Hiranyakashipu. But even he did not for a second hesitate to put that small child through mortal danger. Why? Because something that the child uttered, it interfered with the material enjoyment, and resultantly the ego, the material false ego of Hiranyakashipu was hurt, was negatively impacted by the child's words. So without even having that basic compassion that a father must have for the child, he acted. That is how self-centered Hiranyakashipu was. Similarly with Kamsa also. Devaki is Kamsa's sister. But because she was to carry Krishna, Kamsa put her and Vasudeva through all those troubles. So this type of dushkriti, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya, so to immediately, completely, unequivocally, destroy the miscreants. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. And so I come, avatar, avatirnita, incarnated, I shall incarnate. All these have meaning that one who is coming from the transcendental realm to the material realm. That is avatar. And only the Supreme Lord is capable of doing all these wonderful things as an avatar in order to give happiness in order to save the pure devotee from the anxiety of seeing his wonderful leelas. So that is also one type of saving. Saving, freeing the devotee from the anxiety of wanting to see the Lord in his Bhauma Leela. So that's also one type of anxiety. So the Lord is removing that type of anxiety. Why? Because as we already discussed, the devotee does not have material anxiety. No, he's already surrendered to Krishna. So nothing material does not affect him, does not impact him. So it is immaterial for him. So then what is his concern? What is his distress? What is his anxiety? Is to see the Lord personally, self-same. So paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So I come every millennium, my dear Partha, because like Srila Prabhupada says, we cannot accept anybody and everybody as an incarnation. So it has to be mentioned in the scriptures. Then Prabhupada says that, Lord Chaitanya is the incarnation for this age. And there are only very secretive or indirect references to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because he wanted to be a hidden avatara. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, avatirnita, he incarnated in order to teach people of Kali Yuga that to establish dharma at our individual levels, we can all do congregational chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, we can all protect dharma from having glani. At our individual levels, when we start becoming followers of dharma in its true sense, not somebody's concocted idea of dharma, rather dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavad pranita. The principles of dharma as enunciated by the Supreme Lord can easily be followed in Kali Yuga by following the instructions given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya dharmavam sambhavami yuge yuge. So that way, to re-establish dharma, the Supreme Lord keeps appearing millennium after millennium. And in that, he will take care of the devotees and he will punish the miscreants whenever and wherever it is necessary. Hare Krishna. We will conclude here the 2 verses discussion. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.